All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Purgatory. And for the next couple days, I have some people coming in from out of town. Don't worry, I'm not going far. And I'm only going to be taking a couple days off. But for you guys, it's not going to seem like I'm taking a couple days off because I have some videos prepared, starting with this one. For the next couple days, again, I wanted to do a series of tier lists. I'm thinking about doing about 3 or 4. But the first one I wanted to do today was maps. And these are all maps that are only in Splatoon 3, and this is all going to be Splatoon 3 related. So we got the maps. I don't think they're necessarily in order here. There was a list I found by, I don't know really who created it. There you go, by David Kapow. Thank you for this chart. This is the one, that's the one who made it. These things I feel like take a while to kind of put together. With all that being said, before we get into it, make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're brand new to the channel, and let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think of the tier list? What would you swap around? What would you do? Or you can send me a tweet on Twitter or Instagram or Threads, something like that, and let me see your tier list, because I'm very curious to see how everybody feels about these maps, because I also think it's a lot of opinions are just different now, and it's weird. So anyways, let's go ahead and get right into it. We're gonna start with Hagglefish Market. So this map is okay. I think it really shines in Rainmaker. Tower control is a little iffy, and Clam Blitz is kind of fun on it, but Splat Zones is a bit more of an interesting one. I think it's probably one of kind of a middle ground for me. So right now I think I'm going to put Hagglefish in a middle ground, because I think this map I think it's good. I think it's actually a pretty good map, but in some modes it does feel like a bit of a slog. But the fact that it's one of the only base maps that you have with the game that has flank routes and whatnot is why it's kind of up here. So I think because you still have some player expression on this map, I think I'm probably going to put it in S+. So something that I forget to mention is that my opinion will be very different from yours. And because, to be honest, I'm a little bit more of a casual player. I'm not like super heavy comp. I'm playing about how my experiences are when I play public matchmaking like Anarchy, X-Rank, Turf War, like just in general. No competitive in-depth map stuff. You can go to Prochara for that. He's really good at looking at that stuff. So yeah, Hagglefish S rank for me currently, because of the fact that it feels fun to play on. You can actually have some player expression on it. There's actually some space to move around on the map, and it's not entirely dominated by chargers when they feel usually the most overpowered. So the high ground that you get on top of the little tent, I think, is a good balance, because they can be up there, but they can't really refill ink efficiently, because you can't ink the sniper perch like some maps do. But anyways, let's move on. We got Hammerhead. We're gonna put it right down there. This map is okay at best. I think its turf war layout is okay, but everything else just really doesn't work well for me. There's only one route on the map that lets you, and you can only go straight. You can't go around anywhere. There's perfect spots that you could be able to go around, but you just can't, unless I'm missing something on one of the modes. So far, everything is just a one-way drop down, and the only way back up is going through middle. Overall, this map just doesn't really feel that fun to play. It's aesthetically pleasing. I think the fact that they finished building the bridge, I assume the bridge was done after that Statue of Liberty thing happened. I forget what that thing is called, but it's the statue from Octo Expansion, because there's an Easter egg where you see it in the background. So anyways, every mode except for Turf War on this is just a pain in the ass. So I think this map is definitely going to deserve the C tier. But let's move on to the next one. We got Inkblot Art Academy. I'm okay with this map. I think its big run version was pretty fun, but for the most part, it's actually a fairly decent competitive map, and just in general I think it plays really well. Artistically speaking, I don't think it looks the best. I think there's a lot of just brick, like that same color of the whole visuals behind it is okay, but then usually that center part of the map where it shows all the art pieces is really cool. The layout I think works pretty well. There's some parts of the map that are pretty inkable, and this is one of the only stages, at least at base, that has a lot of inkable walls, and it's from a Splatoon 2 stage. So something you'll kind of see a trend of is a lot of the Splatoon 2 stages are actually pretty decent in comparison to the base Splatoon 3 stages and some of the DLC ones. But anyways, Inkblot, again, I tend to usually have fun on this map whenever I do play it, and I think it actually works out pretty well as a map. The visuals are a bit underwhelming for me personally. Seeing some art pieces and the fact that it's in a university is pretty sick, but I'm going to go ahead and put it right behind Hacklefish Market. Currently, Hacklefish Market leads S rank for me, and let's go ahead and go on Mahi Mahi. If this was still the same version of the map and we didn't get the rework, it would probably be right here at B tier. But since it got that rework, I'm going to say it. I'm going to put it in X rank. The gimmick feels more fun, and it feels more like a gimmick. Every single map feels more fun to play on because there's more room to maneuver. There's more stuff to do. It can be pretty charger dominated, but that's just kind of how high grounds and stuff like that tend to be. I do think there there should probably be a few more bits of cover, but honestly, it really works out on most maps. I think tower control might be its weakest layout, but other than that, all the other modes I personally have a lot of fun on. Is it a competitively viable map? I don't really think so, but it's not a bad map nonetheless at all. It's actually way better than it was before, and not as good as Splatoon 1's, but I think it's marginally better than what we got at launch, and it just deserves the X rank because it's just such a fun map for me. I have so much fun playing this one, and I feel like I'm gonna tilt a lot of heads in confusion with this one, but I feel confident with this one. If anything, this might be last place in the X rank, I should say, because there's a few other maps in here that I think are pretty awesome. But Mako Mart, I'm just gonna put it right here. I'm gonna put it A. And that's specifically because of my experience. It's not a bad map. I wouldn't say. It has some of the most inkable walls that a map can have. Mid feels kind of fun. It feels a bit mincemeaty, to be honest, but it still feels kind of like pretty fun to play on. Playing clams is pretty cool. Rainmaker is okay. Tower control, honestly, I don't really remember much because I just remember not really enjoying tower control at all on it. And then Splat Zones is pretty fun. But for the most part, it's an okay map. I think its art design is really cool. It's inside a grocery store. At least it looks like a grocery store in the Splatoon universe. But yeah, I think it's middle of the pack. It's not a bad map. It's not a great map. I think it's just okay or decent or just okay. It's all right. Mincemeat. Let's see. Yeah, Hammerhead is better than Mincemeat. Mincemeat, I don't even really need to explain much with Mincemeat. This map just needs the next rework. Hammerhead at least has like a good aesthetic, and there's at least some kind of space for you to move around on, but it's like the lack of flank routes and all that stuff, and it's not so interesting layout. It's just, I don't know, it's okay. But Mincemeat, I mean, this is the most boring layout I think I've ever seen in a shooter. I'll be honest. The fact that this is probably the heaviest in terms of chargers, and it kind of feels like it alienates a lot of playstyles because it's just hard to move around on. There's not really much flanking you can do except for maybe Rainmaker and Clam Blitz, but even then, like, the map just doesn't feel fun to play. Clam Blitz on this map is awful. It's actually one of the worst. Splat Zones, it's just a hold the high ground and keep inking to 4 kind of map, and it's just not that fun. It's an awful map. It's not even pleasing to the eyes to look at. The where it is cool. The location of it is cool, but other than that, this map is awful. It's really bad. Up next is Mahi Mahi. No. Up next is Museum Delfoncino, right in front of Mahi Mahi. X rank. This map takes the gimmicks that Splatoon 2, this map takes the gimmicks that Splatoon 1 had, and it just felt like it made it more fun in this game. I think it's one of the only maps that has seen the least amount of change on, and that's probably the best part about it. It plays so well in this game, and it's very good from what I've seen. It's very good competitive wise. So again, I love this map. It's a ton of fun, Every single mode plays really well on it. I think the only time I really didn't have that much fun playing a mode was Spot Zones, and that's just because every other mode just felt better to play on it. Turf War and Spot Zones on this map just didn't really feel that decent for me. Everything else just felt so much better. It just felt like much more of an objective style map instead of just a Turf War and Splat Zones map, you know what I mean? So X rank easily going up there right in front of Mahi. It's really good. I personally think it's better than the Splatoon 1 version, but I know some people will disagree with that one. The next one, we got Sturgeon Shipyard from Splatoon 2. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in front of Inkblot Art Academy. I think the map is also not too great to look at. It's not an easygoing map on, you know, it's not really anything impressive that you're looking at. The location is cool. The layout, I think, is one of the more unique ones. There's just a lot of moving parts. This one also has the gimmick of the raising bridges. I do think it's slightly worse than Hagglefish, but I do think it's way better than Inkblot personally. Not way better. I think all three of these are pretty close together because I enjoy them. I at least have fun in them. Spot Zones on this map is great, especially for Reef Slider, if you're a Reef Slider guy, just like me, because I have to play, well, not because I have to play it because I play Dreadringer, but this map is one of the best for Reef Slider cheese, and Tower Control is okay, Clam Blitz is fine, and Rainmaker actually feels kind of fun on this stage, but really all there really is to it is it's okay. The Splat Zones, Turf War, and then I would say probably Tower Control are my favorites on this one, but even then, these are all pretty close together. Let's go to Undertow. Undertow Spillway. Let's, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put it up here in S rank again, but way ahead of everything else here. I think when you look at it, it's literally the literal definition of a funnel. This map can definitely look like it's gonna be just that, it's gonna choke point all the way at the midpoint, but for some reason this map actually plays really well because it's one of those stages to where it doesn't really have a gimmick, but it does at the same time, because that middle piece that is a really tall wall, you can swim up it, and then it kind of has like a slanted part. That piece stays persistent through the whole, every single layout. And for some reason, the gameplay around that central part just feels so fun. Its Big Run's version is actually pretty good too. I think Rainmaker played really well on it. Rainmaker, I'm pretty sure, was the only part of the map that actually has the left side flank route on it. And yeah, the other modes felt okay, but I think Rainmaker was probably one of the best for this map personally. That's how I felt. But yeah. So let's go on to the next one, that is Wahoo World. I think this is going to be the first B tier. This map isn't that good, but it shines for multiple different reasons that a lot of people don't really expect. If you don't know the meme of the Wahoo pole, if you know, you know. That is probably one of the biggest highlights, is because there's such a meme behind Nintendo. When they changed parts of these like certain maps, they added a pole into Wahoo World, and it was such a skinny pole that it really didn't do anything, and everybody just called it Wahoo pole because everybody hyped it up as like this huge big deal that they changed, but no, it was just a pole. I don't think they literally changed any other part of the map except for just adding a pole center map, and it was really funny. Its Big Run stage, its Big Run version is still my favorite. I think even though the quad spawn on High Tide, I'm pretty sure that is annoying. That was very annoying, but other than that, Turf War is okay on it. Every map layout where the bridge, I get the gimmick of it, but every part of the map where the bridge doesn't extend, which I'm pretty sure Splat Zones is one, Tower Control doesn't. I can't remember the two layouts. I know Splat Zones is the one where it stays closed. On the other, all the layouts where it stays closed, it's a lot more fun to play on, but it's not even that good, even with all that. So, all right. So moving on to Eeltail Alley. This was the quote-unquote what I call mascot map of the game, and unfortunately, easy B tier. It's the only like Rainmaker, or the only layout that I think was good on this map was Rainmaker, because of the ramps that would pop up on the right side, giving you a whole new route to access, was pretty nice. The changes that they made to this map, where they nerfed chargers, felt pretty nice too, but they decided to take away an escape route to anybody that was being pushed, at least on Turf War. I'm pretty sure that was on Turf War, where they removed like the sponge at the spawns, which made no sense to me. I think I don't know, it's just really hard to say anything on this map, because I don't think it's bad. I think it's way better than these two, maybe even better than Wahoo, but it's still just not that good, you know? Like, it doesn't really have much of a gimmick except for the bridge. It doesn't really do much else in terms of its layout. If probably one of the biggest hallway feeling maps, and its tricolor stage just didn't really work that well. I think it would be a very hard but very interesting salmon big run map. Like, maybe extend that bridge and make that platform bigger, and maybe it would be a lot better, but I feel like it would work pretty interestingly as a big run stage, but who knows. It, again, it's one of the most hallway feeling maps. It feels very cluttered, and it's probably the second or third map I think needs to get a rework, and it's very unfortunate, but we're going to put in B tier. So we're going to go to Scorch Gorge. A lot of people say this map is a lot like Kelp Dome, and I tend to kind of agree, but at the same time, not really. The really big difference with these is there's a drop down on both of these kind of maps. Or I guess honestly, Scorch Gorge I think is worse than Kelp Dome, because Scorch Gorge, when you drop down, your only way back is a grate or super jumping back. But your only way back in those high intense situations is a grate that you have to go to center map to get up on and get out of there, except for the Rainmaker and Clam Blitz layout. So is it fun on some maps? Yes. Does it suffer from drop down syndrome, I would say? Or does it suffer from the drop down thing? Yes, absolutely. I think it's one of the worst maps in terms of trying to get an escape route. But it's one of the better maps, especially I believe for Rainmaker and Clam Blitz is what they're on. Tower control and splat zones feels awful on this map. I can't exaggerate it. And that's really all I gotta say. But because it has two good modes, I would say, and Turf War is okay, I'm gonna put it middle of the pack with A tier. I think it's way better than Eeltail, personally. It could definitely go for some inkable walls, I'll tell you that much. And that's really it. So, up next is Brine Water, one of the smallest maps in the game. One of the most straight line maps in the game, and also one of the most Tetris block maps in the game. Very Moray-like in that sense, but it's still far less complicated than Moray is. It's a really nice map to look on. Splat zones kind of feels like mincemeat, to where it's just spray the zone until you win or something. Flanking on this map is probably the worst. It has the least amount of inkable walls. Gameplay wise, it's just not that good. But because its aesthetics are actually really nice, personally, I really like this map. And I'm going to put it up here. I've said a lot of bad already, and honestly, you can't really take that away. But personally, Clam Blitz and Tower Control feel okay on this map at best. I think Splat Zones is very playable. It's very playable. I don't think it's nearly as boring as, say, Mincemeat, but it's playable. Spawn locking isn't that bad, actually. And doing a drop down that takes you to a flank route kind of makes up a little bit, but even then, it's still not that good. But I'm going to keep it up there simply for the aesthetic and the fact that I personally actually really like playing Clam Blitz and Rainmaker, or sorry, Tower Control on it. But up next is Flounder Heights. So this one's pretty controversial. People are very split on this one. I think it's in top tier for me, like one of the higher tiers, but I'm not entirely sure where I want to put it. I think its Splat Zones layout is not my favorite. I'm not a huge fan of the dual zones, and I just don't think it feels that good. Undertow has dual zones too, but that one feels far more manageable. This one just feels like those zones were too far apart, so zones wasn't that good. I think Turf War was pretty fun. Tower Control was the most interesting, I would say. And Rainmaker was okay, and Clam Blitz was actually kind of fun because of the amount of platforms you can get on to throw the clam, and the kind of team coordination can actually really help with that one. So I think I'm gonna put it up here at A rank, but it's gonna be in first place. It's really close to S for me, but I think it's top A rank, absolutely. It's a ton of fun. It's a much different pace, especially for the time when it came out. It came out with Umami Ruins, I believe. And no, it came out with Brine Water, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this map came out with Brine Water, I'm pretty sure. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm more than positive this actually came out with Brine Water. But it was a different change of pace, and I think it was really nice. The amount of inkable walls on it, the amount of advantages you could have with Squid Surge, I think really benefited this map, and overall it was just fun, but not like great, you know what I mean? So moving on to Manta Maria. I want to like this map because Splatwings are actually pretty good on it, but that was really it. Like, Chargers can kind of dominate a little bit. You're really only E-Leader can dominate on this map. Sloshers, especially, well, Dreadringer is actually kind of fun on it. But going on to the modes, I think Splat Zones, I'm pretty sure this is the one with a split zone, but the split zones are very manageable. The change that they made on this to where the spawns are actually kind of wider, where that kind of area where it's really narrow in Splatoon 2, they widened big time in Splatoon 3. I think that was a pretty nice change. Tower Control kind of felt okay on this map. I think Rainmaker was alright. Clam Blitz was kind of okay. It was the only layout that had the block where you could flank like all the way around. And then, yeah, that's really it. Tricolor on it actually felt pretty good. But I mean, all in all, I don't know, man. I really don't know where to put this map. It's definitely not B tier. But I don't know if it's A tier or S tier. I think it's definitely A tier, but I don't know where to put it. Because I like it more than Mako. I like it less than Flounder. I'm gonna put it right here. I like it, but it's just middle of the pack for me. But yeah. Going to Umami Ruins. When this map came out, I was very excited for it. I still actually really like this map. I think it actually plays pretty well. Obviously, there's a few changes I definitely would make, but I think it's one of the more manageable maps. I think Splat Zones on it was kind of tedious at times because, again, it was another one with the split 2 zones, but managing those zones was just kind of tough. It didn't feel right the way it was. Tower Control on this map was okay. Rainmaker was okay. I think the highlight for me on this map was the biggest highlight for me on this map was the amount of player expression you can actually kind of have. Obviously, there's not many flank routes, and I definitely think they could fix this map with a few changes, but I think you're able to actually use what you want on this map. You can use a charger, you can use a blaster, you can use a splatwing, you can use pretty much whatever you want on this stage. Anything with range was good. The Brellas were, Brellas. Shooters were great on it. Rollers were pretty fun on it too. This map entirely just felt like all weapons could play on it, but everything else about it was okay at best. So I think for that, I'm gonna put it above. I'm gonna put it above Manta. I think it plays really well for Manta. I don't think it's S rank whatsoever. but I think it plays really well for Manta. But it looks like we have a lot here in A, so I'm going to move Brine Water down the front of B, just to kind of help make this a little easier on the eyes. But Barnacle and Dime. So a lot of people like this map. I hate this map. I really do. I don't think it's good. I think spawn walking is way too easy. I don't think you should be able to spawn walk as easy as you can on this map. The big run version I thought was kind of boring, and the tricolor version was also just kind of boring. I think this map, like, it could work very well competitively, because I've seen some pretty good matches happen on it competitively really well. In Send-Out Queue, watching people do Send-Out Queue is actually a ton of fun. But even then, I don't know, just for my personal experience on it, I gotta put it down here, man. It's front of B, but not A. A lot of people again are gonna yell at me at this one. I might change it, but I don't like it. I think it's just boring, and that's it. Like, I love its aesthetic. I love the whole. Definitely gives me Splatoon 1 vibes in terms of its art style, the amount of detail in this map, and everything else is cool, but pretty much every mode on this map for me was just kind of boring, if that makes any sense. So let's go ahead and move on to Humpback Pump Track. So this one, a bit, I don't know, it's a bit on the I'm not really so sure side, because in Splatoon 2 it was hell. In Splatoon 3 it's actually a lot better, but even then it doesn't feel that good. It doesn't, I wouldn't say it doesn't feel that good. I think it feels a lot better than some other maps in this game for sure. But I don't know. Let's see. I think I'm gonna put this map. I'm gonna move Scorch Gorge down. Okay, well now that doesn't really look good, so let's move that around. There we go. I think that looks better. Let's put Humpback right there at A tier. Really good. Like, it's a good map. Clam Blitz on it is awful. Complete. You know what? I'm starting to think of Barnacle's like layouts, and even though it's spawn locky and I hate this map, it does play better than Humpback Pump Track for damn sure, and a lot of these other maps. So Clam Blitz on this map feels pretty fun. It's very spawn locky, but at least it's okay to play on compared to this. That's just going by clams alone, and every other mode is just okay. Tower Control I think works out. I don't know. Yeah, Humpback. I'm looking back at Humpback, and like the only time I really had fun on this map was Rainmaker, and even then Rainmaker on it isn't even that great. I think Spot Zones on it is actually kind of fun. You can kind of do Reef Slider Cheese on it, and that's not really why I'm basing that opinion, but it's the Spot Zones on this is pretty fun. Spot Zones on Barnacle and Dime, however, sucks. I think it's awful, but yeah, I think Spot Zones is a lot better on Humpback, but I feel like I'm really gonna piss someone off. Some like 10-year-old is probably gonna really yell at me. Or some guy who lives on Twitter is going to really yell at me for this one, so who knows. But anyways, let's move on to some really good ones here. So obviously everything we've been kind of debating what to put, I'm gonna just do it right already. Ship-Shape Cargo is easily the best map in the game for me. I think this map plays so well. Its art style is probably the most different out of all of them. Its setting is great. A lot of its modes are great. It's one of the first maps to actually have a lot of inkable walls on top of Crab Leg, and most of its layouts were fun. I think Tower Control is a little weird on it. Rainmaker is also a little weird, but I think Clam Blitz, Splat Zones, and Turf War are all really fun on it. Again, Rainmaker I think is just interesting, but Tower Control is alright. But the ones, especially when they introduce like that flank route with the graded area, it's so good. This map is a lot of fun, and it's really good for anything with range. It's really good for I believe usually, yeah, it's pretty good for the heavy edit splatling. Just in general, it's just really good for splatlings. Same thing with Crab Leg Capital, which we'll already go ahead and put it up there. It's easily better than these two. But yeah, Shipshape Cargo and Crab Leg Capital are just insane maps, and I think they were such a welcome change of pace from everything else that we got that I just can't help but put them in X rank. I think they're way better than what we thought they would be, and that's the biggest reason why they're instantly going to X rank for me. Splat zones on Crab Leg was okay at best, but I think its tower control modes, Rainmaker, and clams were all really fun on it, especially with Turf War. And X rank, and with Shipshape, it was kind of the same thing here, but I wasn't really too huge on tower control. Spot zones is a very interesting play. Kind of gives you the reef vibes, especially where the middle zone is. It definitely gives you, for me at least, it gives me big time reef vibes from Splatoon 2. And yeah, so immediately I will always praise this map. I think it's just so unique, and Crab Leg kind of brings that interesting world building as well, along with its really fun gameplay and feeling like what Hammerhead should have been like, to be honest. I think Hammerhead can keep its hallway design, but I think it needs to do what Crab Leg is doing, and that's pretty much what I can say about Hammerhead. But Crab Leg, again, these two probably the best new maps we've ever gotten. And yeah, so we're going to be moving on to the last two here, and again, I'm going to let's take Robo Ramen, and objectively, competitively, everything else that I've seen on this map so far, when it comes to the same thing with all the X rank maps, is player expression, being able to use your weapons. Every time I put these maps down here, each roll of a weapon is usually taken away, and that's mostly with a lot of these down here. A lot of the rolls are taken away in Mincemeat, a lot of the rolls are taken away in Hammerhead. Same thing with Wahoo, at least can use some rolls because there's a lot of stuff to do to move around. You can go under and flank, but even then the map just is okay at best. This might change. I feel like I'm going to rearrange this and then see where I want to put everything, but let's finish this. Let's go to Robo Ramen. Again, back to the player expression. I'm going to put it, I think I'm going to put it right here, right behind Shipshape. Again, Shipshape is my favorite map in the game. That's, again, and this tier list is based on my opinion alone, but Robo Ramen is definitely one of the best maps in the game, no doubt. Competitively, it's competitively viable. You don't feel alienated for playing a weapon you want to play, and you're just able to do whatever you want on most of these stages. Tower control is okay on it, but even then, tower control feels really fun to play on it. So this map is fantastic. Again, one of the best maps in the game. Not perfect, but it's not bad. And it's great. It's fantastic, and I think it definitely deserves the spot up here. And going down to Bluefin, I'm actually gonna do something interesting and move Mahi down. As much as I love Mahi, and put Bluefin. I think Bluefin is better than Mahi because of its gimmicks with some of its stages. I think the Splat Zone stage is probably the most fun I've ever had playing Splat Zones in Splatoon 3. Tower control is okay. I think Rainmaker is pretty fun. Clam Blitz is a very miserable experience. So now that I really actually think about it, I'm gonna go back on my decision and put Mahi being better than Bluefin. Mahi's clams actually feels pretty fun to play on. All of its modes usually actually feel pretty fun to play on, except for maybe tower. But on this, tower control and clam blitz just feel just feel honestly kind of miserable. But Bluefin having that unique, really tall tower from Splatoon 1 was also really cool. And I don't think tower control is as bad as people say it is, but it's not great. Like Splat Zones, Rainmaker, and Turf War are so much better on this map than anything else. But other than that, I think that's going to be my list. The only thing I think I'm going to change here is I think I'm going to switch around some of these. I think Wahoo, I'm just more looking at Wahoo. When I look at Wahoo, I'm kind of remembering more as I go. The collapsible bridge is still very annoying, but I think it's actually going to be way better. I'm going to put it right here at B tier. I think it's way better than Scorch Gorge and Brine Water, all these maps actually. I actually think it's better than Humpback Pump Track. Seeing its gimmick and seeing its where it's located, and honestly, I kind of actually like how it plays. But even then, because in comparison to all these other maps, this map is not even bad. It was kind of it was pretty bad in Splatoon 2, but it feels actually really fun to play on in Splatoon 3. And I think that's the only part of the list that I really changed my mind on. This looks about how I feel about the maps in the game. I tried to keep it even, so nothing looks too crazy. I think this is a fair tier list, and of course you don't have to agree with me on it. You can get all pissy if you want, but again, this is my opinion. This is how I put it. This is how I feel. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to leave a like if you did. Make sure to subscribe if you're brand new to the channel, and again, down in the comment section below, let me know your tier list or what you would switch around. And if you really want to show off your tier list to me, I will post this down in the description. I will post the link to this down in the comment section below in the pinned comment, and you can send to me on Threads, Instagram. There's the link down in the description below to check all that out. You can go over there and either DM me or send me something. You can go to my Discord and put a picture there and show me your tier list. I'm actually very curious to see what you guys think about all of these maps. But yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching. Hopefully you all did enjoy again. I love you all. Have an absolutely fantastic day.